Hello. Welcome back to Leah's Leaves. It's February 10th, 2021. The weather's turning lousy outside. We're going to get snow, freezing rain, ice, sleet, snow, ice, snow off and on for the next few days. So today's a good day for some indoor tasks. Although earlier today, I'll show you at the end of the video, I was actually outside transplanting broccoli, kohlrabi, and a variety of greens because they're all cold tolerant plants. The lettuces will be fine in ground and mulched, and I can put a cloche over them if I need to for when the temperatures drop. And the broccoli and kohlrabi and a few more heads of lettuce are in a kiddie pool with a plastic covering over it. So they'll do fine. And they're in their final resting place, so they'll have room to grow out there. So I want to show you the process that I'm using to plant my hot peppers. Hot peppers generally take longer to germinate and sprout and grow than sweet peppers. And the hotter the pepper, the longer it takes. So be aware of that. I'm not going to do all of my peppers today. I'm only doing my spicy peppers today. And then I'll wait 10 days, up to 2 weeks, and then I'll plant my sweet pepper seeds, okay? So here's what we're gonna work on today. I have an early jalapeno from St. Clair's, a chili cayenne pepper blend from Botanical Interests. That paper pouch is some purple small chilies that I saved from last year, although I wintered over the plant and it seems to be doing okay, so I may not actually need to seed those, but I have them just in case. These are cayenne seeds that I saved last year. So I'll probably do one of each. These are Serrano peppers that I got in a seed swap. These are orange spice jalapeños from Baker Creek. Down here is a Poblano pepper. I'm actually growing a couple of those plants because I want a lot of Poblanos for cooking. It's one of my favorite peppers to cook with and to stuff and to pickle and to other things. This is a Fatalii pepper. It's the hottest seed that Seed Savers Exchange sells, and it's from continental Africa. This is a red Savona. It's a red variety or type close to an habanero. And then these are Brazilian starfish peppers. Of all of the ones shown here, they're the least spicy, but they do have some heat, and I am going to go ahead and start them now, and then I may also seed a fresh one when I do my sweet peppers too, either to prolong the growing season or to just make sure that I'm timing them right, because I'm really not sure how they'll germinate. Now later, in a week and a half or two, I'll be planting Bikino peppers. They do have some heat as well. Not much though, and they're kind of a sweet, spicy pepper, and they're teardrop shaped, and they're from Brazil. I got those from Baker Creek. Golden Marconis. This is a sweet pepper that's a long pepper and fairly fast growing season. I just love the color of these bell peppers, so I'm growing them. The Etiuda orange bell pepper. And then these are seeds that I saved from a really fantastic, beautiful, prolific, tasty bell pepper that I had bought at a nursery last year and grew. And I'm wintering this one over as well, and it's doing fine in the wintering process. So I may end up not seeding those and just sticking with the Etiuda so that I have a couple different varieties. What you see here is some black tea. It's just cheap. Like my local grocery store's off-brand version of Lipton. I got this trick from another YouTuber, and the channel is My Family Garden, and I'll link his videos below. But he was explaining that tea is slightly acidic, just like a bird's stomach. And so by soaking our hot pepper seeds for a few hours, or even just overnight, what we'll do is mimic some of nature, the way seeds pass through a bird's digestive system and begin to slowly break apart the seed coating. So I'm going to try that trick today. I just brewed this. It's still cooling off. And once it's cool, I'll put my hot pepper seeds in each of these mugs and label them so I remember which seed is in which cup. And I'll just give them a few hours while I do a couple of other gardening tasks, and when I come back, then I'll plant them. Okay, all my peppers seeds have been seeded. I put 3 in each cup. I'm going to plant 3 per cell and then thin them to 2, and then up pot them each and save the strongest plant. I don't have a lot of space. It's just most of these I've never grown before. They were new varieties to me this year. I don't know what germination will be like, and I don't want to lose, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks trying to figure out what will and will not grow. So I'm kind of overseeding on purpose. And I went ahead and decided to go ahead and do the Cayenne that I saved from last year. That's the one on the far right, rather than the botanical interest blend. Just because I knew where the seed came from, I knew what the plant was like, and it was wonderful. And the only other exception to my rules was the jalapeno early plant. I actually put 4 seeds in the cup, and I'll plant 2 per cell. And if I get 4 healthy plants, I'll keep all of them because I use a lot of jalapenos. Now I'm going to prepare the seed starting mix. Under normal circumstances, I would just use coconut coir that I would rehydrate with boiling water to kill off any, funguses or fungus gnat eggs or anything like that. And then I would add some vermiculite and perlite to it to help it retain water and drain properly. And because we're starting seeds, we don't need to add any fertilizer or any additives to our seed starting soil. However, that's not what I'm using today, as you can clearly see. Around the edges is the remnant of some potting mix that I used earlier to plant out my broccolis, kohlrabi, and lettuces. And then you'll see these lighter brown chunks. Those are coconut coir that need to be rehydrated. And then on top is a little bit of Jiffy seed starting mix because I was almost to the bottom of a bag, and 1 small bag of seed starting mix that I got from the Dollar Tree. So because all of these things came from different places, I don't know what quality they are. I know the coconut coir because I buy the same brand all the time. But other than that, I really don't know what might be lurking in my soil. So before I mix it, I'm going to pour some freshly boiled water. I'll use this not only to rehydrate the cocoa coir, which is a very quick process, and it expands as it absorbs all the moisture. But this hot water will also help to kill off any of the bacteria and fungus that I don't want lurking around my brand new seeds. You just have to let that steam off and cool. And then I'll give it a good mix and then add more water as needed. Okay, all the water's been added. Here's that squeaky. That's what you want. You want it to be able to hold its shape but not drip water. It's moist but not soaking wet. I got some grow lights in the mail today, and they came in a slightly damaged box, and I've been digging through seeing what I could salvage. So my garden gnomes are here making noise. That one there is Ivy. She's about 1.5 years old. And that's Claire. She's 13, but she's the one acting like a kitten right now. So what I've done here is add about 2 cups of perlite and 1.5 cups of vermiculite. Then I'm going to mix into the soil. Vermiculite, and both of these are very lightweight, and they're available at any store that sells garden supplies, even big box stores, nurseries, anything. Vermiculite helps keep the moisture. It retains moisture, keeps the nutrition in the soil. But the perlite helps keep the soil aerated so that it drains properly. And that way, your teeny tiny little roots get the oxygen they need to be able to absorb water and nutrients. If it's not draining properly and the roots of your plants are sitting in water, they'll suffocate. And that's what it looks like. as I put it in the seed trays. I don't have a sieve, but if you do have one, this would be the time to sieve this mixture once or twice to get the chunks out. What I've been doing as I mixed by hand was pull them off to the side and clump them up in the corner, and I just won't use that stuff. And then I'll also go through each as I'm pouring it in and leveling it off and just make sure there are no big chunks near the surface where the seeds are going to try to germinate so they don't have any barriers to break through. To start these seeds and some others that I'm starting today, mostly perennial herbs and flowers that have a longer germination period, I'm using these Jiffy brand seed starting little pods. But you don't need to do that. You could start these in a styrofoam cup with holes poked in the bottom. You could start these in a red Dixie cup. You could start these inside recycled pots like these and just start them in a bigger pot and let them grow into it. You don't need to buy fancy things, and you don't need to spend a lot of money to start seeds. That's actually the big advantage to seed starting rather than buying plants or just buying your produce at the grocery store. Is a packet of seed costs you a few dollars. Seed starting mix costs you a few dollars. And then the cups and containers you use to grow them cost you probably nothing. You could even just ask your friends on social media to donate some old pots or old cups, or the clamshells from the grocery store. Like that one there had cherry tomatoes in it. That one there, I think, had some strawberries in it. I'm using those to start seeds. So you could just repurpose plastic products, which is even better than sending them to the recycling plant. What you may want to make sure you do is have holes in them. You can see those slits that are automatically pre-cut in the bottom of these. And then they're going to go into this solid black plastic tray that has no holes in it, because that's going to hold water, and the water will wick up from the bottom of the plants through the little holes. And then on top will be this plastic dome. Sorry about the mess. And it will function like a little miniature greenhouse. And then I'm going to put these on top of a heat mat, because peppers love heat and they germinate and grow best when the conditions are warm. And then I'm going to put them under grow lights. All right, I'm going to bring you along for this last bit. These compartments have been filled with my seed starting mix. And what I did was I went through, after I topped them up initially, I saved this one for the end here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just pressing my thumb down into the compartment, and then I'm going to top it up with a little more soil. Top that one, fill in these holes. What that does is it pokes air out from within the dirt a little bit. Like I said earlier, the roots need oxygen, so we want good, loose, well-draining soil. But we also want the seeds to have good contact with the soil, and we don't want to risk the seed sitting in an air pocket and not having any place for its initial roots to go. Okay, so that's why we do that. And then we start planting, and I'm just going to go in order here. I'm going to take one of my dry jalapeno spice peppers, because the other ones haven't finished soaking, but I'll just show you. Pepper seeds are not very big, and the smaller the seed, the less deep you need to plant it. So I'll start here in this front pod, and I'm just going to drop it on the surface. Actually put 3 in that cup. We'll put 2 in. I'll put 2 there and 2 here. Again, these were not pre-soaked, but that's just an extra step that enhances germination, but it's not necessary for germination. And then all I'm going to do is take a very, very little bit of my potting mix, just like a 1/4 of an inch, barely anything, and just top it in. I'm going to do that with all these cells. I'm going to plant peppers here, and then I'm going to plant some herbs toward the end and some flowers in the very end, and fill this tray up with 72 new plants. A couple of seeds in each cell, and then later as they're growing, I'll find the strongest one and keep it, and I'll thin off the rest. And so I'll get, Lord willing, 72 new plants out of this tray. Last thing I'll do is mist them on top with water. I'll do that after the seeds are sown. And then I'm going to put some water in the bottom tray, just like a half an inch, so that there's water to wick up. And then I'm gonna put them right here on top of a heat mat and under the grow lights. For the germination part, and peppers take a while to germinate. So the first 10 days, it could take 7 to 10 days, sometimes longer. They don't actually need light. I have other things germinating under the lights right now, so I'm going to go ahead and keep them on, but you wouldn't need to. And if you don't have a heat mat, put them on top, just put the dome on top to preserve the moisture, and put these on top of your refrigerator. Or someplace where you know that there's an ambient warmth to it. If you have a hearth, and you're not burning a fire in it, but it's just a warm spot that retains heat in your living room, you could set this on there. I have this handy little dome that'll go on last after the bottom water, after the spraying. I'll put this on, and that way the water won't evaporate. When it does evaporate, it'll drip back down. So this will help retain moisture and keep that soil consistently moist for the process of germination. I hope that helps you a lot. Stay tuned for future videos and for updates on this growing. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you saw a variety of hot pepper here that you'd like to know more about, leave a comment. If you're growing a different variety of hot pepper that you think I should know about because I'm a super hot pepper lover, then let me know about that too, where you got them and what are your favorite things to do with them. As always, I'm learning a lot. I'm sharing it here. I hope you'll come grow with me. Bye for now.